everybody. Good evening. This is the Committee of Precinct Chairs meeting for September 29th, 2025 at 7 o'clock, Town Hall in the Great Hall Meeting Room here in Plymouth. We have a pretty busy agenda this evening, but we're going to start, as we usually do, by doing the roll call to confirm a quorum. So I'll start with Precinct 1, absent. Precinct 2, myself, Matt Tavares. Precinct 3.
Dale Weber, Precinct 3, where it all began.
Precinct 4.
Charlie Vautrin, Precinct 4.
Precinct 5.
Misty Nutzling, Precinct 5, Vice Chair.
Precinct 6.
Robert Freeland, Precinct 6.
Precinct 7.
Beth Gregg, Precinct 7.
Precinct 8. Precinct 9.
Brian Harrington, standing in for Catherine Holmes, Precinct 9.
Precinct 10.
Precinct 10, Alan Costello.
Precinct 11.
Precinct 11, Chris Merrill.
Precinct 12. I'm sorry, Pat is online. Let me make sure she's unmuted. But there we go. Precinct 12. Well, Pat Adelman is online. She did message me that she would be. Precinct 13.
Ron Riley, Precinct 13.
Precinct 14.
Jeanette Kelly, Precinct 14.
Precinct 15.
Precinct 15, where it continues, Wrestling Brewster.
Precinct 17. Precinct 17 is absent tonight due to a caucus meeting. Oh, excuse me. Precinct 16 is also absent tonight due to a caucus meeting. Precinct 17 is Joe Hutchinson, absent due to a caucus meeting. Precinct 18.
Precinct 18, Carmen Lee Ferrieri, in the middle of it all.
Right. We do have a quorum, so if you'll all join me in standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is our approval of minutes from September 18th, 2025. I need a motion first.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Wrestling Brewster, second by Mr. Vautrin. Discussion. I know Mr. Williams had a couple of changes, so I'll just bring those to your attention. On page 5, there was a typo on maximum, which is going to be changed. I believe Hillary Gibbons' name was going to be updated, and the fact that Don Williams was here instead of Mr. McKay will also be updated. Mr. Williams, do you think? I think that's everything, correct? Yep.
I would amend my motion to approve the minutes with the changes provided.
All right, and second, Mr. Vautrin. So I will do the roll as we have a member participating remotely. Precinct 1, absent. Precinct 2, approve. Precinct 3.
Approve.
Precinct 4.
Approve.
Precinct 5.
Abstain.
Precinct 6.
Approve.
Precinct 7.
Approve.
Precinct 8.
Approve.
Precinct 9.
Abstain.
Precinct 10.
Precinct 10, approve.
Precinct 11.
Abstain.
Precinct 12. All right, I'm getting, hold on one moment. I'm just going to pause the meeting as it appears that volume is not working on the Zoom participation. So hold on one moment, please, while I go speak to local scene.
What's that?
It's okay. Yeah, I won't be there. See, there's all these people having that cost.
Pat, can you hear us? Pat, give us a thumbs up if you can hear us. Len, how about you? Can you hear us? Give a thumbs up if you can hear us, Len. Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Please hold. Len, you raised your hand because you could hear us? Len, did you raise your hand because you could hear us? No. Can you hear the words coming out of my mouth? Pat, you still can't hear us, can you? If you can hear us, give us a thumbs up.
It looks like our audio is muted on our end. It looks like our audio is muted on our end. So if you, yep, so see the bottom left? There you go.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess for the meeting to work out some audio problems. So 5-minute recess. Smoke them if you got them. Dave, can you hear me? Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I can hear you, Dave, but it's showing as you're being muted. In the bot, can you unmute yourself?
I guess let us know when you can hear us, Dave. I can see the volume moving up and down,
We can't hear you.
but we can't hear you.
I can hear Matt.
I might be talking to the guy in the room. On the. Oh, he's
Yeah, I can hear Matt now.
For the Wi-Fi, try Rock 1620 with a capital R. Guest. I think. Yeah, but then public on there too. And that's denying access. Right.
So it's not much different than a Democratic primary.
Just screwing around. Oh my God. What's that?
Do you, try speaking. Dave, can you hear us? Oh, great.
We can't hear them out here, though.
We can't hear them out here, though. Dave, can you say something? Oh, well, I can't hear you, and I'm not really good at writing green lips, so we cannot hear you, but you can hear us. Len, can you hear us? Len, give me a
Yeah, I
thumbs
can
up
hear
if
you.
you
Can
can.
you hear me?
Hey, there we go. We're getting some volume. Thank you, Len.
You're welcome.
All
You're welcome.
right, I think we're better. Pat, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Hey, we can hear you. We're back. Mr. Chairman, we can have the meeting now. Okay. Getting his steps in. The chairman's getting his steps in. It's more like a 10-minute break than a 5-minute break. Chairman is walking back. We will restart the meeting.
Okay, thank you all for your patience. I appreciate it. A couple of technical difficulties there, but I understand now everyone can hear us on Zoom, and we can hear everyone on Zoom here in the room. So we'll go back to the agenda, we were doing the approval of minutes, and we were at Pat Adelman for the approval of minutes for 9/18/2025. So Precinct 12.
Approved.
Okay. Precinct 13.
Approve.
Precinct 14.
Approve.
Precinct 15.
Approve.
Precinct 16, absent. Precinct 17 is also absent. Precinct 18.
Approved.
Okay, thank you. So those minutes are approved with those changes. Kelly, Kristen, if you could make those before sending them over to Kelly. Okay, next up on the agenda is our continuation of the Fall Town Meeting Article Review. We're going to start with Article 11, the Historical Commission. And I believe Connor Anderson is going to be up here. He's our Historic Resources Coordinator. Sorry, I got a little tongue-tied on that for you.
No worries.
Welcome, Mr. Anderson,
Thank you.
the floor is yours.
So Article 11 would be establishing a historical commission by accepting MGL Chapter 40, Section 8D. So just a brief overview of what it will allow the town to do. This type of body would be responsible for town-wide historic preservation planning. Right now, the town has a Historic District Commission, which is a regulatory body in charge of reviewing projects inside of the historic district and making sure that the projects don't interfere with the character and the integrity of the district itself. That's the differential, is that this would be about a planning board, more or less, for historic preservation. It would be promoting and preserving towns' historic and archaeological resources. That could be through programming, that could be through collaborating with other institutions in the area, getting the schools involved. It would be responsible for recommending that the select board create a historic district study commission if the town were to choose to establish more than just the one historic district that we have. I would also take over National Register nominations. It would be advising boards and staff on historic preservation matters, whether that's, if the DPW is doing work on the 1749 courthouse, let's say, the Historic Commission would then weigh in on the best preservation options and things like that. I'd be working with federal and state agencies on compliance matters. That's mostly archaeological. Any kind of archaeological discoveries that are made, the Historical Commission would step in and then work with Mass Historical on the compliance part of it. And right now, the town has collections in the municipal archives, the 1749 courthouse, the Bartlett room over at the library, and then the Art and History Task Force. What this Historical Commission could do would just be the stewards of everything, and would put it all in one place and then be able to distribute it from there. So that's a general overview, but if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. I'll take questions from here within the room, and then also any members that may have questions online. Pat has a question, and then I know I have a question myself. So Pat, if you would like to go ahead, I'm going to ask you to unmute, and, oops. Pat, hold on 1 second. You need to unmute, Pat.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect.
All right. The Director of Planning and Development has said that on his wish list would be a Director of Historical whatever. Would this commission be leading up to hiring a Director of Historical Structures?
So I'm the Historic Resources Coordinator, and the way you put that, I would love that. That'd be good news for me. But I think there's a focus now on, historical preservation within the town. So I do believe it's trending in that direction.
Thank you.
I guess my question is just, and I apologize as you were going through that quickly, I was trying to make some notes here, but with the current Historic Commission that we have, this overarches that, replaces it,
Nope, they're
supersedes it?
separate. So like
I understand that this is for the town, and that's
Yes.
just for the historic
This is
district.
more town-wide
Yeah.
preservation planning, whereas the Historic District Commission handles matters within the historic district alone.
So are you, if this was a town-wide committee, or excuse me, commission, and something wasn't just the historic district currently, as it stands, does this new commission supersede that, over?
It's
Who's
two
in
different-
charge? Yes.
Well, it's not a question of who's in charge. They're two different functions. There's no overarching, there's not one over the other.
Okay.
They're side by side.
Okay. All right. So if something was within the district, they go to the Historic District Commission, and if something,
it's-
say, in West Plymouth that's historic, they would come
So
to this?
if it has to do with projects in the historic district
Yeah.
that requires review from the Historic District Commission, it would go to the Historic District Commission. If the 1749 courthouse needs repairs, that's the Historical Commission, because it's more town-wide planning,
Okay.
as opposed to a permitting board.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry, I'm just.
It does get confusing when you
Yeah,
get all the historic
It was a
and
little bit
commissions, yeah.
confusing to myself, and I know a couple other
Yeah,
people
there's
within my
just separate
precinct.
responsibilities, they have their own MGL.
Okay. Yep, go ahead.
Thank you. Two questions. Are there any other municipalities that have this similar footprint of a historical commission? in a
Yes,
sense?
when you go into the larger cities and towns, there are historic district commissions and then historical commissions, and some, like in Newton, they have 5 or 6 historic district commissions because of the amount of historic districts that they have. When you get into smaller communities, like say a Kingston or a Duxbury, they combine the two. I'm of the belief that Plymouth is a large enough community with certainly enough history that we can separate the two.
Okay, and then just a follow-up. So if someone in West Plymouth, for instance, wants to build something, then this commission then have to review that with the planning board
No.
to make sure there's no historical component? Okay.
Any further follow-up, Mr. Merrill? Mr. Riley?
Just in regards to the current Historic District Commission, are they in favor of this? Is their plate full? And to combine, like you just said, as other towns would be a little overwhelming for them?
So with the Historic District Commission, it's not a question of ability, it's a question of availability. If you go to those meetings, you'll see that they hold hour-long hearings on different sorts of things. Their docket is packed every single meeting. And I went before the Historic District Commission, and I do have a letter of support for this article from them.
Any further questions or comments for Mr. Anderson? Yeah, Mr. Costello.
Yes, just quickly, now, who makes up the commission? What is it, who is it made up of? Is it a panel of people? Is it a department within the town?
So the Mass General Law states that it's a commission of either 3, 5, or 7 people appointed by the town manager and confirmed by the select board.
And what are their qualifications?
The MGL doesn't specify. It's not like the Historic District Commission where you have to have an architect and a realtor. Down the line, if we wanted to codify something in the bylaws saying, hey, you have to have this certain qualifications, we can certainly do that, but as the MGLs are written, there are no specifications.
And the same with terms and
It's a 3-year term.
3-year term? And what is their scope of responsibility if you were to write it up on the website? What would you be looking if you were advertising for applicants? What would you ask that individual to know or be prepared to work with? I mean, could I be on the historical commission?
Well, I would probably ask for a resume, but
No,
it's
smart idea.
it's residents who are, interested in the history of the town and then interested in preserving the history of the town. There's your starting point, and then you take resumes, and just like any other application process, you go from there.
All right, thank you very much.
Any further questions, either online or within the room? Not seeing any. I'm just going to do as we've done for the past articles. Is there any public comment regarding Article 11? Not seeing anything. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Thank you for your time this evening. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you for holding on while we work through some technical difficulties. All right. Up next, for the majority of the meeting, the CPC Chair, Mr. Ed Bradley. Welcome. I know you have several people kind of coming up, and I'll allow you to introduce them as we go through the articles. I think it's just easier and smoother that way. So we'll be talking about Article 16 first.
Sure.
Mr. Bradley, please go right ahead.
Ed Bradley, Chairman of the Community Preservation Committee. Thank you very much. I do have other presenters here that can answer any questions that come up. Article 16 is an open space recreation, and it's the Dark Orchards All Persons Trail. The CPC recommended unanimously that this be brought to fall town meeting for the appropriation of $900,000 for the creation of ADA accessible trails within the underdeveloped portion of land within Jenny Park for those people who cannot physically access Plymouth's natural resources safely due to inaccessible trails, inaccessible walking and hiking trails. The funding for this article is $500,000 from CPA funds, available funds, $300,000 from the Environmental Affairs Fund, and $100,000 from the Mass Trails Grant. The vote is contingent upon the town receiving the grant from the state to reimburse us for the $100,000. It's this will be the only park in Plymouth that will be totally accessible for people that maybe don't have walking problems, sight problems. It's going to be quite the park when it's done.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board, either online or within the room? Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I have a dumb question. I didn't hear all of the sources of the funding. Where was the $300,000 coming from again?
$300,000 will be from the Environmental Affairs Fund.
Thank you. Any questions to follow up? Yeah, Mr. Votrain, and then I have Mr. Merrill. I'm sorry.
Okay. Chief, former chief, I understand they're going to have because of sight, they'll have like a rope type of thing going along the trail with knots and everything. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So they'll help them realize what's supposed to be there.
Correct, where they are, and there'll also be, like you see at crosswalks, the raised dots along the trail. And there will be some sounds too, correct, David? What's that? There'll be some sounds going through the park? Nate, actually.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good evening. My name is Nate Christopher. I'm with the Division of Natural Resources. The idea of the tactile surfaces will be to help, like you said, guide people with visibility issues And along those ropes will be, say, like a spherical piece of wood, and that's going to tell that person something. If it's a cube, it'll tell them something else. So, for example, a sphere might say there's a bench nearby for sitting. A cube might say that if you stop and listen, you can hear the sound of running water. So the idea is just to bring those sensory systems in to kind of level the playing field for everyone that visits. I don't think we looked into necessarily having like headphones, something like that so much, because we need to run power and all that, and that's certainly a different issue. But the accessibility, visibility impairments was going to be the primary focus of this.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. In regards to the regular maintenance of the trails, who is going to be responsible for that going forward?
Yes, so our department will be. We've spoken with Nick and the Parks Department. If there's major tree issues that we have out there, the tree department can help us. But for the most part, we currently maintain all of the walking trails and the conservation areas and preserves. We have about 34 miles of trails that we maintain internally. We'll just add this to that list. So we'll have equipment that can help resurface because we're using a pervious surface. We have money budgeted for years 4 and 5, understanding that we're probably going to need to have to resurface some of those areas. So that's all built in, but our department will be the primary.
Okay. Any further questions regarding Article 16? Seeing and hearing none, I'll open it up to any public comment regarding Article 16. Seeing none, I'd like to move on to Article 17, the Gilmore land acquisition. Mr. Bradley and I believe Mr. Gould is also here to answer questions regarding this. So the floor is yours.
Article 17 is also an open space recreation, and it's the Gilmore land purchase. And this was a unanimous vote of the CPC to send it to fall town meeting. And it's for the purchase of 13 parcels of land totaling 20.8 acres to benefit the town in 3 ways. 1 is going to provide open space. 2 is going to remove the land from the present degrading practices. And 3, the ecosystem benefits resulting from major change in the land use. Purchasing this land will result in connectivity to the abutting tracts of open space, town-owned Beaver Dam Conservation Area, and the nonprofit Mass Audubon-owned Tidmarsh Wildland Sanctuary. Parking is already established, as well as trails to Little Island Pond. This vote is contingent upon the town receiving $448,000 in grant reimbursements. Excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Are there any questions within the room or online? Pat, I see your hand is raised. If you'd like to speak, go right ahead.
Thank you. The Cranberry owner maintained the drainage system for that neighborhood. Who will be maintaining the drainage system now with this purchase?
It'll be shared, correct?
Mr. Gould.
Thank you. So the homeowners association is responsible for maintaining the stormwater system in the subdivision. So anything that's in the roadways, catch basin pipes, those are the responsibility of the homeowners association. Where those discharge are those 10 drainage lots, and essentially all those are small drainage lots where these stormwater system drains out to. So they're small detention basins and that kind of thing that will probably need a mow or a weed whacking about once a year to just make sure that the pipes entering them are free to drain. And we will do that with our staff. We do similar work on other properties that we also have. So that's not a big lift for us at all. But again, just so this committee and everyone knows, the stormwater system within the roadway is not coming to the town's responsibility as part of this. That remains with the homeowners association.
And do the homeowners, are they aware of that?
It is in the subdivision approval for that neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gould.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be a broken record on this, but is all of this money for this coming from the CPC funds?
No, hold on a second, I'll give you the exact amount from the CPC. The CPC will be putting in $281,290.92.
Where's the rest coming from?
There is a land grant request, right, for $348,000. Mass Audubon Society, $75,000. The Wildlands Trust, $25,000.
Any follow-up, Mr. Williams? No? I had Mr. Costello first, and then we'll go. Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah, he defers to you. There you go.
What about the maintenance of the bogs? Are they going to be still in use? Are they going to be filled?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So they would not be farmed going forward. We'll begin a process that we've done similar to the cranberry bogs at Yale River, at Foothills Preserve, Tidmarsh, which is immediately adjacent to the site, at the Pinnacle Preserve that we've also acquired. We'll really store those wetlands back to, those cranberry bogs back to naturally occurring wetlands. You're welcome.
Do you still have a question, Mr. Costello?
He actually took one of my questions, great question about the bog, but my second question, going back one slide, it notes one buildable lot. And that buildable lot, I'm assuming, has a pretty good value. Is it presently on the tax roll, or is it potentially something that could be sold off? Well, I've never seen that notation on a land purchase for conservation, buildable lot.
Yeah, so the recent cranberry bog property that we acquired on Black Cat Road had 4 buildable lots, so not uncommon, but just so everyone can see here, this lot is the so-called buildable lot, right, located with frontage on Beaver Dam Road coming back to the pond. So this is the lot that he is, in fact, referring to. So as you can imagine, when this first went on the market, there was some interest. My apologies. Excuse me. There was some considerable interest on the buildable lot. Ultimately, when we talked to the potential or the current landowner, she was interested in selling the bogs and the buildable lot and preserving it. So she wanted to give the town the opportunity to acquire all this land first. And so we would like to buy this property for significant water quality benefits, but also because that buildable lot is immediately adjacent to our Beaver Dam conservation area. And putting a house, a driveway, a lawn, a septic system would significantly impact the value of that existing habitat. So we're very much interested in buying it all, and that is how the current landowner would like to see it move forward.
Mr. Costello, did you have a follow-up?
I guess, maybe you sort of answer my question. Is it a separate parcel that you've rolled into this deal, or you hope to roll into this deal? Does it have a value, a standalone value for that buildable lot today? Has it been assessed?
It does. It's part, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but the individual lots were assessed as part of the appraisal. And so that buildable lot does have significant value to it compared to the other lots. Obviously, cranberry bogs don't have tremendous value. But in the appraisal, all those lots are broken down with the individual values identified.
And it would be your department's hope to put that in conservation? It wouldn't
That is
have a
correct.
possibility of being flipped and sold at a separate time, right?
No, so once we have town meeting action to preserve it as open space, it would not be available for selling it. The owner would like to see it purchased this way, all of that land that she currently owns, protected as open space. So if the town chooses not to do that, then she can go back and sell and split it up however she sees fit. If the town were to move forward, it would become open space.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Mr. Riley?
Just quick, so the 2 bogs, when they get taken off, the state gives funds? There's a reimbursement grant for that? Is that figured into it, or?
So that is not, excuse me, not figured into this, into the numbers that you're seeing tonight for the acquisition. I can tell you that just down the street from here on Beaver Dam Road is our Foothills Conservation Preserve, and that had about 40 acres of cranberry bogs restored, approximately 1.5 million. The town was into that restoration for $45,000. That was our contribution. That came from the Environmental Affairs Fund for plantings. The rest was state and federal. We have the Pinnacle Bog property, which is going to be going out to bid for restoration soon, just under $1 million estimated cost, and the town has no money involved in that. That is all state and federal dollars to do that restoration. I would hope that this would follow a similar pathway.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Williams?
David, I'm curious as to whether eventually, like, say, 3 years and 2 months down the road, that you might try to rehab the bogs?
Into agriculture?
No, just to restore them to wetlands.
Yes, that's exactly what we're referring to. Correct.
Any further questions from either Mr. Bradley or Mr. Gould on this article? Not seeing any. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Okay. Up next, Mr. Bradley, I know, do you need another minute to get organized?
I'm back
You got everything
together.
there? Okay. I apologize. Lastly, is there any public comment regarding Article 17? Not seeing any, we'll move on to Article 18, the Habitat for Humanity article. I know Mr. Bradley will also be joined by Amy Belmore from the Habitat for Humanity. And those within the room, they were able to hand out some handouts from Habitat for Humanity. I apologize for those watching at home or via Zoom. If you could go ahead, Mr. Bradley, please begin on Article 17.
Article 18.
18, excuse me, sorry. Yep.
Affordable housing, Habitat for Humanity. Community Preservation voted 5 in favor, 3 against to pass this along to fall town meeting for the appropriation of $70,000 to the Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth for the purpose of constructing a single-family home at 51 Strand Avenue in Manamet with affordable housing deed restriction to count, and this will count towards subsidized housing inventory. I wanted to make sure some pictures in color came to you tonight. I did tour this house the other day. It's pretty far along. As you can see, it fits in the neighborhood very well, both color-wise and architecturally. It's got a great lot. Luckily, there was a shed on site that the volunteers were able to rehab, so there will be extra storage in the backyard for the family that's going to be moving in. And I would like now to bring up Amy Belmore from the Habitat for Humanity of Plymouth, Greater Plymouth.
Sure, welcome, Amy.
Thank you so much. And yes, I apologize for not getting the slides to the chair in advance, but I just wanted to run through a little bit of the information that you have in front of you. I do think it's important for people to understand what the Habitat model is all about, for those who may not know. We've been in operation here for about 28 years, have built 9 homes in Plymouth. And we serve a community of people that is at the 30 to 60% area median income. So that's a lower served or an underserved population of people that don't typically get access to affordable home lotteries that you see elsewhere. And our properties all have deed restrictions in perpetuity. So these are lasting affordability. There isn't an opportunity for someone to live in a Habitat home and live there for 5 years and turn around and sell it at a market rate. That's not an option because of the regulatory agreement that we have with the state. And so that's always important to know. The homes themselves are, the homeowners hold a 30-year affordable mortgage, so this is not a gift. That's one of the most commonly asked questions that we get. They are paying a mortgage at below market interest, and obviously in the market that we're in right now, it's just so incredibly difficult for members of the workforce to gain access to secure affordable housing. So we're happy to do the work. It's also important within the Habitat model, our homeowners are putting in sweat equity hours. That's a Habitat term, but they are working alongside our volunteers. We use volunteer labor for the lion's share of our construction. Together with trade partners in licensed skills, in specific skills where we need to bring in those folks, but otherwise, we're able to keep our costs low by using volunteers. And so this request is for $70,000 specifically to this Strand Ave home. It's a 3-bedroom home, about 1,300 square feet. There will be a family of 4 living there. They've already been selected by way of a lottery drawing, and they've already started to put in their sweat equity hours. And so we are able to really we're able to maximize the return on investment for any of our grant makers or funders, and certainly that's the case for CPC as well, because of the way we're able to use volunteers and our nonprofit status we leverage that constantly to solicit discounts and pro bono services, materials, and whatnot to keep the costs down. So in terms of this particular property, as I mentioned, it's a $70,000 request. This is also a property that it's called a local action unit underneath the local initiative program. So that's the state terminology for a partnership affordable housing unit that is counted on the subsidized housing inventory. So this is the pathway to get it on the SHI, not involving a 40B. This is just going straight on the SHI. And we do for this project, we have a mix of private and public funding. As you can see on I think it's the 3rd page that you have in front of you, the total estimated development cost is about $375,000. We've asked for $70,000 from the CPC, $50,000 from the Affordable Housing Trust, which we did secure, and then the remainder will be covered by private funds. We have one major funder in that mix, as well as some smaller dollar funders, and then, of course, our Habitat investment and those in-kind donations and services that we're receiving. This is also a partnership with the Plymouth Redevelopment Authority. That's where it began with the town transferring the land to the Redevelopment Authority. Some of you are nodding. You remember that town meeting vote a little while back. And then the PRA decided to chose Habitat as the developer. So we were happy to do that. We paid a nominal fee for it. And ultimately, not only will this family have secure housing, which is, of course, what we're in the business of doing, but it will also return the property, which was in tax title for decades. It'll return it to the tax rolls. I think that's about it.
Are there any questions either for Mr. Bradley or Ms. Billmore? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Amy, in regards to just the acreage, how many acres are on this?
It's just about a quarter acre lot. So it's in an existing neighborhood on Strand Ave.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just to follow up with that, for future habitat projects or builds, probably would it be wise to probably find something that has more acreage so you can build more homes on that for the affordability standpoint to meet that AMI?
Yes, we would love that. We would love to be able to find a lot of that nature. Yeah, we're actually looking for that all the time so we can maximize, their cost efficiencies, obviously, of building more than one home at the same time. We were able to do that down on Long Pond Road back in, those homeowners moved in late 2020 and early 2021, and those were 3 homes side by side. It honestly comes down to just the availability of the parcels. Yeah, but thank you.
Thank you.
I know, Mr. Bradley, I know that this, when it came before you, wasn't what I would have thought was a unanimous vote. Can you speak to the dissent?
Oh, the 3 that were not in favor? A couple reasons. The biggest one, I think, was that the house was going to go forwards anyway. It's more or less done. There was a number of funds provided by the town already, including the land. It was a tax title property that was turned over. There was some value to that, obviously, and the town had lost some taxes on it while they took that land. $50,000 came from the Housing Trust, and there was another $110,000 from the Pine Hills Charitable Housing Trust. So the feeling was that there was a lot of participation already, and what's better than having one affordable housing unit in Plymouth, maybe having 2 and saving the $70,000 and use it somewhere else. That's basically what the dissenting votes were.
Any
Excuse
other
me, Chair.
questions? Yes. ahead.
Sorry, can I
Yeah.
just comment on that, though? The 110,000 from the Pine Hills Affordable Housing Trust, that's private money, so it's not public money. It's a big source for us, but it's not public money.
Okay, so so you have 120K that we're seeking here between AHT and CPC funds, 110 from
The Pine Hills.
Pine Hills?
Yep.
And where else did you have?
So then we have another large, a pending request with another private foundation, and then we have about $15,000 combined in some smaller dollar grants that we've received from partners, banks, insurance companies, whatnot. But the it's actually $111,000 from the Pine Hills Affordable Housing Charitable Trust. They've been a partner of ours for multiple projects, and that is, in fact, private funds.
Okay, so is that where it adds up to the 375, 269?
Yeah, well, and then you're working in also, there's $60,000 or so in the pro forma for habitat investment as well as in-kind solicitations. You know, that's, obviously, we're doing the pro formas at the beginning of the project, and those are all happening on a rolling basis. And sometimes, you know, there's variability, but.
Okay. All right, I'm just trying to understand that. So I know yep, go ahead, yeah.
I pass by that house almost every day. I just live around the corner, and I've been really impressed with how quickly it's gone up and how neatly it fits on the lot, and how little disruption to traffic and the rest of it there has been. I have two questions. One is, what happens if this funding does not come through? And the second question is, what do I say to my neighbors who are concerned about the property values of the other houses around it, this being a Habitat for Humanity house?
Okay, so your first question, I'm sorry, Beth, your first question had to do, can you just repeat your first question?
Sure. If this funding that you're
Yes.
requesting now does not
Yes.
come through, then what
Sure.
happens with the house? What happens with
Sure.
the project?
We'll be hard at work looking for that money elsewhere, and, you know, we have grant makers that we'll go to and so forth, but where CPC is charged, a third of its charge is to work with affordable housing. That was a natural opportunity for us to make the request that we're making, and same is true for the $50,000 request that we made to the Affordable Housing Trust. So the project, it has been moving quickly, and we're very pleased by that. We only work 3 days a week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, as I said, with volunteers. So we are pleased with the way in which it's moved along, and it does fit into the neighborhood wonderfully, and the neighbors themselves have been incredibly welcoming. So we're just going to have to go back at it if this does not pass town meeting, but we'll get it funded one way or another. We have a family that's waiting for those keys, and we know that the pressure is on. And you had another question. Oh, what to say about to neighbors about property values? Well, I guess what I would say is, I should also mention, in addition to the sweat equity hours and the affordable mortgage that they're paying, these homeowners are truly invested in their properties in ways that maybe some of us aren't. They're literally hands-on building their own home. And in that process, they become very prideful of the product and the idea that they've helped to build their home. They also get financial education through our volunteers. We put them through a first-time home buyers course, as well as 5 different modules of financial education. Similar, we make use of the Money Smart module program that a lot of local banks use. And we have bankers that deliver those courses, as well as home upkeep sessions that they're getting from our construction director and so forth. So oftentimes, the Habitat homes are some of the best looking homes on the street. And I think it's because of the pride they take in the process.
I have Mr. LaFrere and then Mr. Riley.
Thank you, Ms. Belmore. A couple of questions. First, is a great organization. I volunteered in the past many years ago.
Thank
I
you.
think it's great. I didn't hear everything you said clearly. My apologies. And you might have answered this question already. But whose name is the deed on the property once the family moves in?
The homeowners.
the homeowners, is there a minimum length of required stay that they need to live in the home before, you know, I mean, I'd hate to see them,
Yeah,
you know, they get this home, they have to pay a portion of it, I think.
they pay a mortgage.
They pay the mortgage,
Yep.
they get 120 grand from the town. You know, I mean, if they stay in there for 6 months or a year and, oh, yeah, we don't like it here.
Sure.
They
Yep,
walk away
commonly
with
asked
100
question. Yep.
What's that?
That's a commonly asked question that we get. So they pay their mortgage, as you and I and others pay their mortgages, along with tax and insurance, and that goes into escrow. If they were to move for whatever the reason, you know, life changes or job changes or what have you, they can take out the equity of what they put into the house. And the state actually sets a formula that allows for a little bit of inflation so that when they say that they stay there for 5 years and need to move, there's an adjustment that's set by the state. In that case, Habitat, because this is what I described before as an LAU or LIP, Local Action Unit under the Local Initiative Program, both Habitat and the town of Plymouth are named in the regulatory agreement. Habitat would have the right of first refusal to buy that at the then affordable rate, right? So 5 years from now, the affordable rates go up. It's set by HUD and followed suit by the state. And then we would go seek another Habitat homeowner. We would go through the same vetting process. These folks are all income qualified. They can't have too much debt. They need solid employment history, all of that we go through before they land in the lottery. We would do that again. And so we would, and maybe by then we might have to do a little bit of refreshment or, you know, refurbishment and make it available to another Habitat home. I will say no one in our history has ever moved because you simply can't get a better deal around here. They can, and we would never stop them, but they haven't in our history.
Thank you.
Mr. Riley? That cleared it up, okay. Are there any other further questions? Oh, yep, sorry, I didn't see.
The deed rider and regulatory agreement, are they in perpetuity? Or
Yes.
In perpetuity?
In perpetuity.
Thank you.
And we do that here in Plymouth. That's not, other towns across, and cities across Mass might have a 30-year, you know, cap off. But that's
Exactly.
what we've been doing as our history here. It's what we intend to continue.
Thank you.
Who currently holds the mortgage on this property? Is that Habitat,
we
through
do.
Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah.
So are they paying the mortgage through you, to you? How's that work?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. There isn't, we own the property.
You own the property?
Yeah, we own the property.
So they seek
And then
private
the
funding?
homeowners are not paying anybody right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we own the property. We'll then close with the homeowners when we finish the project. And then when they get the key, we'll then convey this. We'll sell the mortgage to the homeowner. And then the proceeds from that get reinvested back into our continued work, which is to build and develop more, or develop and build more affordable homes in our area. Yep,
So Habitat sells the mortgage to
yep.
an investor?
A local bank,
Or a bank, local bank?
local bank, yep.
So is it for this 375 that you would sell it for?
No, this is, this family, this home will sell for $229,102.
108, that's very specific.
Yeah, it's
Thank
very
you.
specific, isn't it? Remember, I don't set those rates, but the state
Right.
does, and they get right down to the dollar. So $229,102, that's the level of 60% area median
Right.
income, maximum sale rate for 2025. So that's what we're working with. And then those proceeds, as I said, we reinvest them right back into the community. We also have a program called Brush with Kindness. This is an ongoing program for critical home repair, a lot of aging in place, disability ramps, health and safety needs in homes. That's an ongoing opportunity for people to apply to, all low-income households.
So this is amazing. I have family that have worked with Habitat for Humanity, and I worked with this organization down in Virginia before. So I'm just trying to, so for call it the town's $120,000 investment at this ask, not counting all the other money. You said that it was, basically, you'd end up with $229 to invest into another home in Plymouth to work?
We invested
build?
into our operation, and this is one of the other questions that's come up, that came up with the CPC as well. So we have a 6-town service area. We are continuously, the amount of time and resources that goes into developing these projects before we even get a shovel in the ground, before we, come to any entity looking for cost to, funds to offset costs, all of that takes a tremendous amount of work. And so the funds that we receive allow us to keep doing the site selection, the engineering, the due diligence, the regulatory work, the lottery administration, project management, all of that work in order to continue building homes.
Okay.
But it's important to know, anyone in any of the 6 towns in our service area can apply for a home in any of the 6 towns in our service area.
Right, so in theory, we'll hypothesize, you don't find a property in Plymouth, you'll take that 229 and it could potentially be a home in Carver. A current Plymouth resident that was struggling would end up becoming, unfortunately, a Carver resident, or fortunately, I'm nothing against Carver.
If they can keep their job in Plymouth and live nearby, I think that's pretty good. Yeah.
But I guess I'm just following we put in 120, but that 229 could go to another town, and I understand that a Plymouth resident can apply for that. Okay. Just
I think
trying to
it's
follow
worth
a little
noting,
bit.
because you're not the first to bring this up, and so
Yeah.
I'll make note of what I've said before. Back in 2020, I believe it was 2019 or 2020, we built a house in Kingston, sold that, and the next 6 homes we built were in Plymouth.
Okay.
So those proceeds that we were able to drive back into the organization, the work that we're doing, didn't support that town. It supported
It could be
this
2 years
town.
from now,
Yeah.
it could be,
Yeah.
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to follow along
Yeah.
here, and I know I'm going to get asked those very similar questions at
Understood.
my caucus.
You're not the first to ask, and I'm happy to answer them. Yeah.
Mr. LaFrari.
One last question, just for the record, Mr. Chair.
That's me.
That's you. That's him. Do these homes, they're affordable homes?
Yeah.
Do they count as part of the affordable housing that we need in the town of Plymouth?
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Just
that
curious.
subsidized housing inventory, and yes, they do.
You might have said that. So
No worries.
thanks anyways, thanks again.
No worry. And this is a Plymouth family, 2 young kids. They're very excited, so.
That's great. I love to see young families here. I'm going to keep it with the chairs. Are there any questions, further questions in the room or online from the chairs? Not seeing any, I'll allow for, yeah, I know. I will allow for public comment, which Mr. Levin is public, not a chair. So Mr. Levin, please unmute yourself, and you may make your comment. And then if I feel it's worth getting a response, well, not worth, but if it allows for a response, I will let it happen. Go ahead, Mr. Levin.
Hi, my name is Len Levin. I'm the clerk of the CPC, and I was one of the people that voted against this. A couple reasons why. At the beginning of this round of applications for housing and other things, we hired a affordable housing consultant to review the applications because we felt we needed somebody with a little bit more expertise than the committee members. And her response to us was she wasn't supportive of this for a couple reasons. One was the fact that it wasn't limited to Plymouth residents, two, the fact that they couldn't guarantee the funds would be used for another Plymouth house. And I understand that, and that wasn't my reason so much for not voting for it. We also asked if this project would go forward without this money from the CPC, and we were told yes, it would. We felt like the town has been very supportive of this this project through the Affordable Trust and through the land acquisition. I found it interesting, she commented both times that the Pine Hills Charitable Trust is not public money. I live in the Pine Hills, so it's my money. So I still take issue with that. But, you know, I understand this need for affordable housing, and I applaud what the Habitat does. We just thought, and I just shouldn't say we, I should say I just thought that in this case, the town had been very supportive of us. And, you know, the CPC has lots of obligations, and we're trying to minimize minimize borrowing for these obligations and have to pay off other ones. So I felt at this time that amount of money could be used for another project in a better way. And that was the reason that I voted no for it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Levin, for adding on to Mr. Bradley's comments regarding my question from earlier, the dissenting vote. Are there any further questions, or excuse me, any further public comment within the room? Yes, please. Just state your name for the record if you would. Thank you. And for our minutes.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Fay. I'm a Precinct 5 member, and I am proud to serve on the board of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth. One of my favorite roles with the organization is getting to know the families. And so I wanted to share with you a little bit about the family at the heart of tonight's request. The family at the heart of tonight's request is a young family of 4, and he grew up here. He graduated from Plymouth South's tech program the same year that I graduated from North. He and his wife did everything right on paper. They both went to college to become nurses. They both started out in their careers in hospital roles, and then the pandemic hit and took a massive toll, causing him to switch gears and start a career in the plumbing trade while she moved into a pharmacy role for a better schedule balance for them and their children. And this meant changes in pay and, like so many other young families, moving in with family members here in Plymouth. It was supposed to be just for a short while, but as housing prices and interest rates have skyrocketed, as we've all watched, he says he saw his dream of owning his own home slipping away. But that all's changed now that they've been selected as our newest Habitat for Humanity homeowners. And now with a first grader in the Plymouth public school system and a preschooler, they are going to soon have a place to call home forever. And they're not alone. In the past 2 years, we've also helped a single mom who serves as a DCR ranger in our public parks. She cares for these public parks and waterfront spaces that we all enjoy, but she simply could not afford to own a home in this town. This also happens to be a woman who collected gloves and hand warmers to keep in her pack to offer to any homeless individuals that she'd encounter in our parks. And that's the kind of person that I want in my community. And then there's our homeowner who served in the US Navy for 8 years as an aviation mechanic and then found himself unemployed during the pandemic. Forced to live in a veteran shelter for a period and eventually living with family. Now he's employed by the Plymouth Public Schools as a custodian, and his wife and their 2 beautiful daughters were able to move out of her parents' house in Plymouth and into their own safe, happy Habitat home. And each of these 3 young Plymouth families never thought owning their own home here in Plymouth would be possible. And yet, with the help of Habitat, these 3 families are now able to thrive here and serve in important workforce roles here in the Plymouth community. And so with that, I appreciate your time this evening. I appreciate all that you do for our communities, and I hope that you will continue your support of this incredible local organization. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Any further public comment regarding this article?
Yeah,
sir.
Joel Coffin, Precinct 10. I just want to make sure I understand the numbers. So it sounds like we have a house valued at $375,269. My math says the amount contributed for that, including the mortgage, is $510,102. So that I think is around $135,000 difference. So with that, is that money then can go anywhere, right? It's just for the Habitat. I just want to make sure I understand that. As a town meeting member, I'll want to make sure I know that for my vote.
Since we were kind of asking questions very similar, did you want to answer? If not, that's okay.
Yeah, no, I'll try to clarify again. So in terms of the funds that are being requested for the $70,000 for this CPC request earmarked specifically to this house, specifically for the hard costs and soft costs associated with building the house at 31 Strand Avenue. Same to be said about the $50,000 that we secured from the Affordable Housing Trust, and same to be said about the other numbers that we've talked about, the 121 or 111 from Pine Hills, and then another 65 or so that we're still in the process of securing. The 229,102, the sale proceeds, those funds literally allow us to remain open, and our mission every single day is to continue to build, and I don't want to say remain open, that's not the right word. Those funds are allow us to continue working on the projects that we are developing that take a lot of time to develop before we can get to the point where we're putting a shovel in the ground and buying lumber and materials and hiring tradesmen to do that work. And so when we're able to make use of the revenues from the sale proceeds to support future building projects in our communities, whether it be in Plymouth or one of the 5 surrounding towns, I think we can all agree that housing and workforce housing is a regional issue. It's not specific to every town. If you're plenty of people who are living in Plymouth or working in surrounding towns and vice versa. So when we are reinvesting those dollars back into the work of building future homes in our communities, we have a proven history of doing that, and we'll continue to do it. We're not building coffers, we're not spending frivolously. We literally have sold these houses for less than it costs for us to build them, and we're working every day to continue to build these houses. And the Brush with Kindness program, I don't want to short shrift that, because that does take resources as well, and that's, dozen or more projects a year.
Any further public comment? Not seeing any. Thank you, Amy. I'm sure we'll see you on October 18th if you haven't made it to some of the precinct caucuses by then, so thank you. All right, Mr. Bradley, moving on to Article 19. I have the number right now, the Little Red Schoolhouse, and I'm not sure if Connor will be speaking or not, but go ahead, Mr. Bradley.
He's certainly here to answer any questions. Article 19 is historic preservation for Little Red Schoolhouse in Cedarville. It was voted 7 in favor, 1 against, and no abstentions. We moved this to fall town meeting. And it's for the appropriation of $36,000 for the existing condition study of the historically significant Little Red Schoolhouse that was built in 1830, and to further evaluate any necessary steps to preserve that structure. It actually, I do have some more information on that. The Little Red Schoolhouse does have a revolving account that's furnished by rental fees from the building. Currently, there has $45,000 in it. The Select Board has set the rental fee at $10 per hour, and they are allowed to spend up to $30,000 a year out of that account. They have offered to pay for half of whatever the study is. So if the study came in, let's just say at $20,000, $10,000 would come from the Little Red Schoolhouse, and the other $10,000 would come from CPC. I don't think that we're going to be spending all of the 36 plus the 30 of theirs, but that's what's available there right now. This will, it's a little bit different than the historic preservation study that's going to be done on Memorial Hall, whereas this is going to be a thorough examination of all the building systems, including bringing on a structural, mechanical, and electrical engineers to examine the building systems and opening walls and running tests and whatever they need, and preparation of existing condition plans and improvement plans. And then they'll be meeting with town officials to discuss all the challenges with the building, the use space concerns, and priorities for the future use. And it will help create a capital plan for architectural, structural, and system renewals with an emphasis on cost effectiveness. It'll also provide a budgeting guidance for any further improvements and provide a cost estimate for those proposing improvements.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Mr. Williams.
My understanding is that the west side walls are not in line with the historic nature of the Little Red Schoolhouse. Is there anything going on with perhaps replacing them as part of this, or are they going to look into that? Because then it could be, then it would have a better status as a historical building and perhaps better reception of grants.
Yes, this type of a study will also include historical. So they'll go back in time and find pictures and drawings and events that happened at the place that were historically familiar, or events that should be captured. And they'll be able to, from that, decide what, because I'm sure over the years there's been a lot of renovation of that building and things that probably should have been left alone aren't there anymore, but maybe there are a lot that are buried. But we'll be able to find out exactly what should be in that building, what it should look like, and that will be in the plans for them to further on down the road.
Just to follow up with Article 11 with the Historic Commission, will the CPC going forward, if this passes, going forward in the future, work with the commission with the historic preservation articles?
Connor Anderson, Historic Resources Coordinator. To answer your question, this would be a project where the Historical Commission would weigh in and give staff advice and, work with the, the preservation specialists. This is actually a perfect example of an instance where that would come in handy.
Any further questions within the room or online? Not seeing any. Is there any public comment regarding Article 19, the Little Red Schoolhouse? Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next article, Article 20, Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report. Mr. Bradley, and don't go too far, Mr. Anderson, I guess.
Yes. Article 20, another historic preservation article. This is for Memorial Hall Historic Structure Report. And this was voted 5 in favor, 2 against, no abstentions, to move this appropriation of $90,000 for the historic structure report to contribute to the preservation, restoration, and improvements to this historic building. And I do want to add that whether this building is restored as it is, or, there's been a lot of talk about maybe we need to demolish it and start all over again, this report will be very useful in both cases. It will identify, again, going back through older drawings and pictures of the building and events that happened to the place. It'll identify parts and pieces of that building that should be saved, and whether it's to renovate the building that's currently there, or to be saved and pulled out to be put into a new building to give it the same look that, in the same feel that it should have.
Thank you. I know I've got Mr. Williams. Go ahead.
Is there anything that you know of that would cause you to believe that there will be a problem with renovating rather than tearing down? Because if there's nothing that you know of, I'd rather see the 90,000 go into a repair and then go on from there. But I don't know everything.
Well, even if we were going to do a repair to that building and restoration of it, we would need this report to identify the parts and pieces of that building. Let's just say, for instance, there's some millwork around the windows or doors that was particular to that time period, early 1900s, that was done by hand. We certainly wouldn't want those to be destroyed or removed and replaced by something that was not fit in with that time. There has been a lot of talk now that this Memorial Hall has gotten a little more traction out there, that people want to see the cost of both before they make a decision, whether or not we're going to renovate it or build a new one. There was a report that was done and turned over to the DPW in November of 2024 that identified all the leaks, identified all the downfalls of the building. One of which is this building is done what they refer to as mass masonry. It has one single brick width on the outside and 2 clay bricks on the inside. It absorbs water. The idea is that it's supposed to evaporate before it gets through the 2 brick inside, but it needs a lot of ever care, every 5 years, they'd have the outside of the building waterproofed and things like that. They had also identified areas of the building where you see a lot of Spalding brick, but those were not the areas that were leaking. Some of the tests, when they were doing a water test, was no longer than 30 seconds, and they had a large amount of water in the building already. So we have a question on whether or not we're starting with a structure that should be rebuilt and put a lot of money into. But that's for discussion throughout the town by everybody involved.
Mr. Merrill, did you have your hand up? Yep.
I guess you somewhat answered it for me, but my only concern is, don't we have a town facilities manager that oversees our public buildings and to kind of give an adequate study or perspective of what needs to be repaired instead of us having to go out and spend $90,000?
We do have a town's facility manager, and of course, he's, like in this building, takes care of the lighting, the heating, the air conditioning. This particular type of study is done by people that specialize in historic preservation. And the company that we're looking and we get prices from, whether or not they come back as the bid, is ones that have done like the Spire Center and Pilgrim Hall. So they're good at that. This is their niche. This will be the company we want to identify these parts and pieces for us. Whereas, town staff, we might guess at something, but not have that expertise behind us to actually put it into writing for it.
Any further comments from the chairs in the room or online? Mr. Weber.
Yes, I would just remind the Committee of Precinct Chairs that through its chair, we distributed the report that Mr. Bradley is talking about to all of you. You have it all on your, you have it all electronically, and you need to read that report to educate yourselves to how to vote on this issue and the building's status. So please take the time to read that, digest it. I think Mr. Bradley spoke about one issue that was very glaring to me. Mr. Bradley says 1 course of bricks on the outside and 2 courses of brick on the inside. My take on that was there's 1 course of brick on the outside and 1 terracotta brick on the inside. So I was just going to slip through that and try to find that again, but I couldn't, so we'll leave that open. But suffice it to say that the recommendation from this building report basically states that nowadays no building would be built that thinly, the best words I can use. And now that there's been a big piece of a concrete wall removed from the inner structure of that building, it's even less stable. And this report is full of all those pictures of the internal bracing and everything that has been done to date on that building. So it's a good read. I'm not going to sit here and advocate how you vote. I'm just hoping, I'm advocating for you just to be educated to what's in this report of 22 November 2024. We sent it out to you. The chairman sent it all out to you. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Weber. It's all part of the, call it, bigger puzzle, right? You're right. Yeah, Mr. Riley.
Thank you. So this needs to stay in historic in order to use CPC funds? Is that, we're discussing the significance of the historic of the building. We know that adds a cost to it. We're trying to just save the building. It's going to be quite a bit of money spent on this. When was it, we had a large remodel, what, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when they did the front doors and oval windows, and there was a substantial...
It might have been 25 years ago, 20, maybe 2000, somewhere around there, or 2007.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, right around $5 million, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are they, we're doing a historical study and the structural study. The building lands in kind of a a gray area in the middle for seating that the Melody tent and South Shore tents have more capacity, so they bring in bigger acts, yet anyone that goes to them contractually cannot play at Memorial Hall. They're forbidden to, because they have a contract with either one of those two. The seating doesn't, we don't have enough seats to attract a large performer. So are they weighing in this to, if you know, if this thing is only 10 inches thick for exterior walls and deteriorating, and it would just be a good swipe to just knock it down and start fresh, which is cheaper in a lot of ways in construction, that we could add seating and make this more of a substantial venue, and might include parking out back, maybe a second level, or it just, there aren't enough acts in there now. I follow it, that, the spire, there isn't enough going through there to sustain this building. I don't know that for a fact, I don't see the books, but I see what goes in and out of there. We have cage fighting, and it's got to be hanging on by a thread, and I don't know why we don't get more acts in there. And it just seems like something, it needs to be larger in order to.
I think that's going to be hard for.
The rec department uses it, which is great. It just seems underutilized for the value of what is going to be spent on this.
Yeah, I think that's hard for Mr. Bradley to answer, but I'm more than welcome to let him do that, because he's coming at it trying to figure out if this historic study gets done, well, is it eligible for CPC funds? So, yeah, that's part of, I think, the bigger picture, but also dovetails into what Mr. Weber sent around, if everyone's had a chance to read it. And if you haven't, I suggest that you do. But Mr. Bradley, if you want to try and attempt.
There are some physical limitations to getting some of these acts to come into Memorial Hall, one of which is them showing up with all the equipment and being able to pull up to the backstage and unload the equipment. As you can realize, that's about 12, 14-foot difference in that area. So at some point in time, if the building was rehabbed, there was going to be an addition put on the back. That's what they talked about when we first saw this article brought to us back in May. And that was, they originally came to, it's funny, it came to, I shouldn't say funny, it came to CPC for $3.8 million to stop the leaks in the roof and the brickwork. 2 weeks later, that application was amended, and it came back at $22.6 million, and they were going to be some other money after the fact to get it up somewhere in a range of $38 million to renovate the building. It only came to us in May 15th of this year, and we had to vote by August 30, the end of August, because the warrant closed the first week of September. So that was 3 short months for something this large. That was another reason why we wanted to take a step back, get a good look at it. We've never built anything in this town this large, whether it be this building, any schools, fire stations, with only having 3 months worth of talk and not being vetted by everyone and everybody in the town.
Mr. Beautrain?
Can you tell me what's the permanent seating, not when they put the seats on the floor, but like the permanent seating, how many people can that hold?
1,500? Yeah, something just under 1,500 people.
So when we put the seats on the floor, now you must be talking like around 2,000 people, roughly, because when they put the chairs out, you know what I'm talking about, or tables? Okay, so 1,500 with the permanent. And then I've heard, or I thought I heard somebody say that we were actually breaking even or making money. So who's in charge of that, and who can tell us, like,
Actually,
are they making money, or are they in the red, or what?
We can get that information, obviously, from Lynn Barrett. But they did, I believe in 2021, set up a revolving account, and so that the rental fees go into that. At this point in time, I know that they were covering the salaries of the people that are employed there, including the custodial staff when they bring them in on overtime and stuff. But I thought that they had somewhere around just over $100,000 in the account at the
One. So CPC, originally, they had all these grandiose one. So CPC, originally, they had all these grandiose ideas, and they came to CPC, and CPC said, well, let's see what we're looking at first. So I think we need to, the discussion needs to be around, this article, and, these are all great ideas, but this is the, step one, and then we come back and we start looking at, okay, what do we want to do with the Memorial Hall?
Any further questions or comments from the chairs? Hearing and seeing none, I'll allow for public comment regarding Article 20. Len, I see your hand is raised online.
Yeah, I'm back. I again voted against this, and that project plan that we were given pretty much the morning of our meeting, that was roughly about 22 million CPC asked. My understanding, it was about 15 million that we would have had to borrow, possibly over 20 years, and with about $5 million, about a few $1 million of interest. And I felt that that plan didn't meet the historic level. It was a lot of additions of lighting and all this other, and additions and everything. My feeling is, and at the time we were told there was going to be $5 million of free cash used for that project. So let's go use the $5 million to do this study. But an interesting thing that I was paying attention to an A&F meeting one night when they were discussing this article, and Chairman Lally mentioned that there's a good chance if they do go forward with something, that they would have, the contractor and those people would have to bring on their own people to do such a study. I agree with Mr. Weber, that building, I toured it, and that building's sitting on a river. You can see the water. I do not believe that building can survive, no matter what you do, in another 20 years. So the question is, do you want to put money in it for another 100 years? Do you want to put money in it for another 10 or 15 years? And look, I understand where that building sits in the lifeblood of Plymouth. I understand it completely. I'm not a long-term resident of Plymouth, but I understand it. But I think that there needs to be an overall plan for what we're going to do to be able to have, as somebody said, a world-class venue. There's plenty of examples of world-class venues around this state. If you've never been there, go to the Groton Hill Music Center in Groton, go to Shin Lu in Rockport, go to the Chevier Theater in Medford, go to the Mechanics Hall that they redid in Worcester. There's fixing the leaks and doing that, as people said, you're not going to make that place a world-class facility. You're just not. That's just my opinion. I was incorrectly quoted in a periodical that said I said tear it down. I didn't say tear it down. I just said you got to decide what the goal is. And as Matt said, this is about spending money to do this study, and to me, it's just another study. It's like we don't need another committee. We need to put together a plan, use the expertise of the building committee to go through and decide what the future is. I know a lot of people are not going to like it if that building has to come down, but you got to be careful of spending money on something that's not going to survive. Maybe it'll survive my lifehood, but it may not survive many others. So that's just all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Levin. Okay, any further public comment regarding the Memorial Hall, Article 20? Not seeing any, we'll move on to Article 21, the Plymouth Training Green. Mr. Bradley, the floor is still yours.
Yes. Article 21, the Plymouth Training Green. This is another open space recreation. And this was a unanimous decision of the CPC to go to fall town meeting for the appropriation of $644,000 to rehabilitate and preserve the historic training green, which was built somewhere around 1711 and designed by a famous landscape architect known as Frederick Law Olmsted. The park is known to be one of the oldest continuously used parks in the country. The rehabilitation will address safety issues, ADA-compliant entries and walkways, as well as mass architectural access board compliant stairways and entrances, lighting, and the flagpole. They'll also be adding an irrigation system to keep it green, all while being sensitive to the original historic design.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Any questions regarding Article 21, the Plymouth Training Green, or comments from the chairs? Mr. Williams.
With all due respects, I'm wondering what this will add to the recreation facilities of Plymouth for $644,000. I think that's a lot of money for just no buildings, just grounds.
Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, if you've been there at all recently, the walkways that kind of traverse it and go around the monument, they're concrete and they've fallen apart. So a lot of that will be replaced, as well as some benches, seating that actually belong in that time period, not ones that are there now. The irrigation system, again, is to keep it, just to keep it green. It's a Civil War monument at Park also, as well as being the original training green where the militia would go and meet up and train when the redcoats were coming. Sure, yeah.
Thank you. You all set, Mr. Williams? Okay. Any further questions or comments regarding the training green from Mr. Bradley? I see, I guess one item from me would just be, I've seen, our Veterans Day celebrations as the parade makes its way, does stop up at that training green, and I have seen our veterans struggle within the concrete walkways. So this is, for me, something that I've seen numerous times. Did I hear in a previous meeting this might also include lighting as well? Or
Yeah,
did
there
you
will
say
be
that and I
lighting
missed it?
and the lanterns. We're doing research on now to find lanterns that were like the ones that we used back in 1711, which were lit by some kind of candle or something, so that they meet that time period.
Fantastic. And I think that they kind of tie into what's going on with Town Brook-ish style or something as well. Quiet.
And
Thank you.
it'll also make it ADA compliant, so people that have mobility problems, now Sandwich Street side obviously has stairs, they won't be able to, but North Green Street, South Green Street, and Pleasant Street side, they'll be able to get right in with wheelchairs or walkers or whatever, and be able to have access to that park when it's done.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Any further comments or questions from the committee? Mr. Weber.
Yes, thank you. This was an initiative that Precinct 3 put forward a few years back, and it languished in the process, and we're happy to see that the town finally picked it up and moved it along. But to Mr. Williams' comment, this is not a place to recreate. This is a place of honor, and it's a memorial. And so just to answer Mr. Williams' comment directly, it doesn't add anything to the recreational needs of the community. It's not a recreational park. Thank you.
Just a comment that, we are celebrating 250 years of our historical independence, so I think this would be an appropriate article to pass for this fall town meeting because of that, so.
Any further questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, I'll go to public comment, and I see, Mr. Levin, you have your hand raised, so if you'd like to speak, go ahead.
Yep. I voted for this. I understand the importance of it. In some sense, it's the Lexington Green of Plymouth, and I think it should be honored and taken care of. There was a couple of things on the construction budget for that, and it came up at the A&F presentation. With the moratorium on watering, spent the budget line item for the irrigation system, hold on if you didn't read it, is $145,000. So I don't know how we do that, if there's an amendment on town meeting, but my question is, why would we spend $145,000 on an irrigation system that may never be able to be turned on? It would be almost criminal to have that being watered while everybody else is telling them, everybody else in town is being told to conserve water.
That question,
The other thing that I question is, this is being funded under the recreation portion of the CPC. But all throughout the discussion, all we kept talking about is the historic importance of that. So if we go back to what we just talked about with Memorial Hall, and we're spending $90,000 for historic to find
Mr.
out
Levin, how much
whatever's
more time would you need
historic about that
here?
building, I don't understand how this can be funded out of the historic funding. Like I said, I'm all for it. I think it's an important thing for the town. And then the last thing is,
Mr. Levin, how much more time do you need, Mr. Levin?
one more minute, please.
Mr.
The last
Levin.
thing is, we talk
Mr.
about making the
Mr.
grass
Levin.
green. How many times do you drive by there and watch people walking their dogs on it? That's not gonna help it any. So that's all I really have to say.
All right, thank you, Mr. Levin. Sorry, we'll let you go over your time a little bit there. I think that these are debate arguments. Mr. Bradley, if you feel strongly that you want to answer any of these, I will allow that at this point, but these sound like debate arguments that would be more on town meeting floor, but if there's anything you want to add, I will allow it.
The question about the irrigation system did come up at a meeting early on, and the director of DPW, Mr. Coyle, was present in the room and said that that parcel will obey all of the restrictions that there are. If you're only on odd days and that's where it is, then that's when they'll be allowed to use the irrigation system. So it'll follow all regulations that are put into effect by the Board of Selectmen. And I think that
I think that question came up during a select board meeting as well, and that
yes,
was the answer I had
yeah.
also heard.
And I think the line item for irrigation is, I'm reading, is $87,000.
All right, thank you. Seeing no, Mr. Weber, I'm going to let you jump in here.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
I appreciate the latitude, Mr. Chairman. It's important for people to know that the town has never fully restricted the public's use of watering. They've always put limitations on it, but they've never, ever made it so that no one could ever water their property. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Seeing no further public comment or anything further from the chairs, I'd like to move on to Article 22, rescind borrowing authorization. And I look forward to the questions on this.
Article 22 is to rescind the borrowing authorization for the Spire Center. The project is completed, and there was $100,000 left that we had not borrowed. So in other words, they came in at $100,000 less than they thought for the total project. So we want to rescind that ability to borrow that money, obviously. We never did borrow it because it wasn't needed, but now it's just to rescind that authority.
Any questions regarding this article? Seeing and hearing none. Any public comment regarding rescinding the borrowing authorization for the Spire Center? Hearing and seeing none. I'd like to move on to Article 23, our town records transcription. Mr. Bradley.
Article 23 is another historic preservation article, the town records transcriptions from 1783 until 1866. Unanimous approval by the CPC for the appropriation of $35,000 for the transcribing of the town of Plymouth's historically significant records dated from 1783 to 1866. Once these are all transcribed and uploaded to the town's digital repository, we will have a complete set of transcribed and searchable records from 1636 to present. When these are brought up, they will be completely searchable online for anybody to be able to find anything during that period of time. Right now, they're in hand-bound books that are stored in an area that is humidify and such to keep the book in good shape. We'd rather not have to have somebody request to look at it. Mr. Connor would have to go down and get it and bring it out. If we can, reduce that amount of time going after those original books, it would be great.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the chairs regarding Article 23? Mr. Brewster.
Mr. Bradley, no longer chief. Sorry. Just a question on all of the articles. Do you have a total number that you guys are asking for?
It'll all be from existing money. For instance, the Dark Orchards will be $500,000 to be paid out of budgeted reserves. The $281,290.92 for Gilmore will be paid out of budgeted reserves. The $70,000 for the affordable housing will come out of the housing reserves. The $36,000 for the historic reserves account will come out of for the Little Red School, also come out of the historic reserves account. Memorial Hall, that $90,000 will come out of historic reserves account. The training green, $260,323.08 will be paid out of budget reserves, and the others will be paid out of the other $383,676.92 to be paid out of the undesignated fund balance. And this last one, the $35,000 to be paid out of historic reserves account. I can tell you that balances in those accounts total right now is $1,440,428,000, and if all of these articles are approved and passed, we will still have $877,266.19.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments regarding Article 23? I thought you might be looking for a lost family book or something. Hearing and seeing none, any public comment on Article 23? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Bradley, and for the other department heads that have come in. I appreciate the time that you put into this, Mr. Bradley, and your committee, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we're going to move along to the Town of Plymouth Town Meeting Handbook. You've all seen copies a while ago. Everyone has had time to submit updates, and there were a number of them, or formatting changes or language changes, and those have all been vetted by the Town Meeting Handbook Committee, have been incorporated into this, and then you received it as well. So I'd be looking for a vote to accept the Town Meeting Handbook as presented. But before that, Mr. LaFrari, as chair of that subcommittee, if you'd like to say anything, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say thanks to the committee. You know, we started this process back in August 2nd of 2023, when Catherine Holmes announced the need to have this done. And, you know, I was fortunate to help orchestrate the revision of this, and it was really, you know, members of committee of precinct chairs that helped put this together and revise this. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them, and thank you very much. So.
Thank you, Mr. LaFrari, and for your subcommittee's hard work over those, actually a couple of years now at this point. So I leave it to the chairs.
Motion to accept the handbook.
Motion to accept by Mr. Brewster. Do I have a second?
Second.
I think that was Mr. Williams or Mr. Merrill. I'm not sure. It was a tie. So discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call for the roll call vote on this to accept the town meeting handbook. Precinct 1, absent. Precinct 2, accept. Precinct 3.
Approve.
Precinct 4.
Accept.
Precinct 5.
Accept.
Precinct 6.
Accept.
Precinct 7.
Accept.
Precinct 8.
Accept.
Precinct 9.
Accept.
Precinct 10.
Precinct 10, accept.
Precinct 11.
Accept.
Precinct 12.
Accept.
Precinct 13.
Accept.
Precinct 14.
Approve.
Precinct 15.
Accept.
Precinct 16, absent. Precinct 17, absent. Precinct 18.
Accept.
Fantastic. All right, well, thank you very much for your hard work. And then we're going to be getting this out there where the former town meeting handbook resided on the town website. I would also, encourage you to direct anybody that has a new town meeting member to go look for it. We'll let you all know when it gets posted to the website. Next, any old business from the chairs? The only piece of old business that I have would just to remind you as you're doing your caucuses to the subject that came up about getting their gauge of interest of potential get out the vote signs that the League of Women Voters would be able to provide. So as you're doing your caucuses, if you could just throw that into conversation either before the meeting, after the meeting, or an agenda item, whatever you want to do, just to get a level of interest. And if you can kind of pass that along either to myself or Kristen, that would be great. Any new business? Mr. Weber.
Just a courtesy announcement through you, Mr. Chair, that Precinct 3 will not be in attendance at your October 2nd meeting, as that conflicts with our own caucus, but thank you.
I understand. Yeah, we had a lot of juggling with the meetings and the rooms and local scene, and they've all accommodated us to the best of our ability. But you gave me a great segue. So our next meeting is going to be October 2nd, this Thursday, same room. But I also wanted to go into a couple of things with you on as regards to dates. The town meeting books, there's been some discussion out there that people didn't think that they were getting physical copies of the town meeting books. I got a lot of calls about that. They were to go into the mail on, I believe, Friday, September 26th, but they actually went into the mail today. So you'll probably see those in the next day or two, depending on your distance to your post office. The motions procedural meeting is October 8th at 7:45 a.m. in the Shallop Room. Following that, if you choose to remote participate, I know the town clerk sent out notice, but so everybody hears this, you need to notify the town clerk by October 10th if you're going to remote participate. Then the next major deadline for anyone here, in particularly town meeting members, if you need to or would like to put any motions to amend or any motions before town meeting, they need to be to the moderator, to be in the motions book by Thursday, October 16th. The moderator town meeting preview, although you all here have received a lot of previews and we'll get another one on Thursday, is Thursday, October 9th, so next week. And then town meeting is on October 18th. Two last pieces of information. Article 25, you saw that we got for October 2nd. Article 25 has been added back to that agenda, but it's just an update from Love Howard from the Plymouth Stewardship Alliance. She wanted to explain where that article is going to be and where it stands. It's not going to be a presentation on the article, but there's a lot of discussion about a committee being formed around sand grab removal, so we're just going to discuss that. And Article 15 was taken off of the agenda. That's being pulled from town meeting, and it'll be resubmitted for the spring 2026 town meeting. So hopefully that helps your caucuses move along a little faster. One less to discuss. Any other new business? Hearing and seeing none, I'll ask for any public comment. Not seeing any in the room or online, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Close.
Thank you, Mr. Brewster. Thank you all. We'll see you Thursday at 7 o'clock.